The Auburn Tigers have faced the Georgia Gym Dogs 75 times over the years. The Tigers have won just 3 of them. And tonight, getting that 4th win won't be easy. Auburn has started the 2013 season in a funk, while Georgia comes off an exhilarating win over number 12 Arkansas. Will the Gym Dogs continue their domination over the Tigers? Find out next.
Students are back on campus here at the University of Georgia, and a big crowd is expected here tonight at Stegeman Coliseum as the 8th-ranked Georgia Gym Dogs play host to the 24th-ranked Auburn Tigers. And welcome in, everybody. I'm Melissa Lee alongside former Georgia Gym Dog Amber Trainey. Well, Amber, both teams have similar goals here tonight. Both want to see improvements.
Well, Melissa, it's been a tale of 2 seasons. Auburn had really high hopes, but even they'll admit that it's been a subpar start, losing their 2 first competitions. While Georgia had a chance to knock off Oklahoma, a top 5 team, and faltered in the end. But they managed to recover with a huge road win against Arkansas. Both teams have high expectations for tonight.
Well, coming off that Oklahoma meet, first-year head coach Dana Durante has really shifted her focus to correcting some of those mistakes. She's looking for a better outcome here today and consistency from her squad.
Disappointed, no question, but we didn't dwell on it. We came back in, we talked about how we were going to correct those problems, and we were able to do that in Arkansas, and we certainly still have some work to do, but I feel like I think as a staff and as a team, we've worked very hard this week to continue to make that progress.
Well, rocky start's not all that surprising when you introduce a new coaching staff, but Georgia's learning the new coaching program, and it's just a work in progress. Except it's even harder coming in as a freshman because not only did you leave club gymnastics, but you're having to learn the ropes in a collegiate setting. But Brittany Rogers seems to have overcome that difficulty and has even been a model of consistency, which is what Coach Durante would like to see tonight.
Well, speaking of consistency, that has been a problem for the Auburn Tigers so far this season. They see mistakes all across the roster. That, according to head coach Jeff Graba, is a sign of a young team.
It's a lot of potential and a lot of frustration all at the same time. You know, we're either a 9.85 or a 9.1 at this point. So, and the frustrating part for us has been that a lot of the mistakes have been coming from people that we know we can rely on or have relied on in the past. So, I think it's a little bit of growing pains with the team, getting to know each other a little bit and settling down. But yeah, it's we're split 50-50 right now.
Well, it's tough when you know how good you can be and you just can't seem to get there when it counts. Auburn is a young team, eager to prove themselves, and they just seem to let the pressure of competition get to them. Coach Graba's goal is just 24 for 24 tonight, and senior Patrina Yoke, who is leading the nation on bars, should be able to help them get there.
Well, it's the SEC home opener for the Gym Dogs and the first of 3 SEC road meets for the Auburn Tigers. When we come back, it's Georgia on vault, Auburn on bars. You're watching SEC Gymnastics on CSS.
Back inside Stegeman Coliseum, Auburn and Georgia are ready to get after it. But earlier in the day, we saw 2 best friends, head coach Dana Durante and Auburn assistant Jenny Rowland. The 2 went to high school together, attended Arizona State together. Their husbands went on double dates with each other. Back in college, they were in each other's weddings. So a rivalry turned into a friendly rivalry here in Athens. Let's take a look at Georgia's lineup on vault.
Well, Georgia is a powerhouse on this event. They're ranked 2nd in the nation, and they've got multiple girls capable of scoring 9.9 or better.
Leading off on vault for the Gym Dogs, Chelsea Davis, the sophomore from Austin, Texas, a second-team All-American on vault.
Chelsea will do a Yurchenko full. A lot of power off the table. Beautiful stick. Great vault.
What a great way to start a meet off.
All right, now look at the height that Chelsea gets off on this full. It's a great start for Georgia, a good person to have in the lead, and she gets beautiful height, giving her plenty of time to stick the vault.
So Chelsea Davis starts things off nicely for the Gym Dogs with a 9.775. Auburn will start on bars. Amber, what do you see there with their lineup?
This is a good event for Auburn. They've got senior Patrina Yoke at the anchor position, and she's scored 9.9 in both the first 2 meets and is #1 in the nation.
Up on bars, leading off for the Tigers, Kate Clues, the freshman from Michigan. Last week versus Kentucky, she scored a 9.775 on this event.
All right, nice start here. Good handstand. Pretty straddle back, a little short there. You'd like ideally for that to be in the completely vertical position. Another short handstand. Judges can deduct for that. Nice double A dismount, good form, good stick. Not a bad start for Auburn.
Right back to the ball we go. Up next for the Georgia Gymnastics.
Let's look at this second release, her straddle back to handstand. She comes up, brings her legs together, and you see that pike in her hips? You really want that to be perfectly extended.
Kate glues a 9.75 to open things up on bars for the Tigers. Vaulting now for Georgia, Lindsay Cheek, the junior from Watkinsville, Georgia, tied for first on vault with a 9.9 last week at Arkansas, is also a first-team All-American on vault.
All right, look at the height that she just got off that table. Wow, what a stick. Beautiful vault for Cheek.
She got up there.
All right, take a look at her entry onto this vault. She's perfectly straight, sees the table as she's leaving, tight twist, perfect form, easy stick.
Lindsay Cheek, that vault, a good one, a 9.9 by the judges.
The result of that high block, tight landing, and easy stick.
On bars for the Auburn Tigers, Bree Guy, the sophomore from Maryland. She struggled a bit last week versus Kentucky, scoring a 9.3, and of course hoping to better that here tonight.
Well, that first handstand, she almost went over, managed to recover, a little half turn, do another straddle back. Also pike there on that handstand. Handstand was also a little short. Blind full, also too far over the top. Huge reverse heck, very nice. Another short handstand though, that's gonna kill her on the score. Solid double tuck dismount, great stick.
I'll say that's better than a 9.3.
Ladies and gentlemen,
She'll gain some confidence on this one here tonight.
Let's take a look at her dismount. She sets it up well. High double tuck, easy to see the landing, great stick.
It's a 9.8 score for Bree Guy. In the middle of rotation one, just getting started here at Stegman Coliseum. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Back here in Athens, the Georgia Gym Dogs wrapping things up on vault. Let's take a look at some of their earlier highlights. Sarah Persinger now.
Sarah is also going to do your Yurchenko full.
Sarah Persinger, a 9.825 score. Brittany Rogers ready to vault for Georgia.
Very nicely done. A little leg separation, but pretty vault.
Brittany Rogers, a 9.85. Vaulting for Georgia, Kat Hires.
Oh, no. That was not what it was supposed to be.
It's a 9.725 for Kat Hires. Anchoring the Georgia Gym Dogs on vault, Brandy J., the freshman from Fort Collins, Colorado, has been the anchor on vault all three meets so far this season.
And Brandy J. does the Yurchenko 1.5, and she does it beautifully. She typically gets a lot of power. We'll see right here. Nice entry. Oh, a little short on that landing, but a beautiful 1.5. All right, Brandy comes in here on the table, and she's a little bit shorter than what you would like to be. She gets power, but not quite enough to stand that landing up perfectly, causing her to squat down a little further than you'd like to see.
It's a 9.8 score for the freshman Brandy J., which gives the Gym Dogs a 49.15 score in this first rotation.
Which is saying something, because that's oddly enough their lowest vault score, but still such a huge score. It shows that they can have a little bit of mistakes in this event and still come out clean.
The Auburn Tigers at the end of their first rotation. Let's take a look back at some of their earlier highlights on bars. Up on bars now for Auburn, Abby Hobbicht.
Setting up for her dismount, double A. Oh, a little hop there. That's a shame.
Abby Hobbicht, the 9.8. Megan Walker ready to go on bars for Auburn.
Another nice double layout, a little bit short on that landing though.
It's a 9.8 for Megan Walker. On bars for Auburn now, Caitlin Atkinson.
Full in dismount.
Caitlin Atkinson, the 9.875. So far, a very good first rotation for both of these squads, and Katrina Yoke for Auburn like to put a big old ribbon on this first rotation for the Tigers. Tied her career high on bars last week versus Kentucky, scoring a 9.95 and hoping to at least match that here today.
There's a reason that she is leading the nation on this event. She's got such beautiful form, a lot of power. Beautiful first release there, such pretty form. Good clean handstand, setting up for the dismount. Hop full into a double tux. Oh, a little step back. I'm not quite sure she'll make that 9-9, but solid routine.
Still a fantastic finish, though, for what has been a great rotation for not only Auburn, but for Georgia here in the early going tonight.
Check out this release that she does in between the bars. It's so unusual to see. She goes forward like she's going to go into a straddle back and turns half, catches the bar in between. Perfect form. Nicely done.
So the top gymnast in the nation on bars picks up a 9.85. Katrina Yoke helping her team out to give the Tigers a 49.125 on bars.
Which is such a great start. Huge scores, everyone hit, and not counting anything below a 9.8.
So for the first rotation, it's the Gym Dogs with a slight lead, a 49.15 to the Tigers, 49.125. Kat Hires, who we will see later in the rotation, said after the close loss to Oklahoma, the team chose a word to focus on, and it's really helped them get things back on track.
We really focused on trust. That was our theme of the week after Oklahoma, and just like trusting in our gymnastics, trusting in our bodies, trusting in each other, because, you know, on floor we just we were over careful, and so I think that moving from that, we got more aggressive and just trusting our landings and trusting everything, and I think that just in itself made us stronger for the next meet on every event.
Trust is a huge thing in gymnastics. You have to trust your body to know what it's doing. You have to trust your coaches to know that what they are telling you is correct, and that's something that Georgia has really improved on.
Auburn vaulting here in the second rotation. Amber, what do you see here with their lineup?
This could be a really good event for Auburn. They've got a strong lineup, and both of their seniors are in on this event.
Leading off for the Auburn Tigers on vault, Kate Clues, the freshman, scored a 9.7 last week at Kentucky.
Kate does the Yurchenko full. A little lower than you'd like to see, but she managed to pull out a nice landing. Entering here on the table, she comes in a little short, and you can see her shoulders are already twisted. She's getting way ahead of herself, causing to not have as much height as you'd like to see.
Kate Clues starts things off with a 9.7 for the Tigers. Leading off on bars for the Georgia Gym Dogs is Lindsay Cheek. She's led off on bars and beam in both meets this season and is also in the beam lineup here today.
A little short there on that first handstand, but covers with a good blind full. Huge reverse head. A little loose on that handstand, but once again manages to recover. All that's left is a dismount. A lot of power in these giants beforehand. Double layout, small step backwards. Nicely done.
That's some nice power.
Her first release move here, reverse head, is huge. She gets a lot of height, a lot more height than we've seen so far tonight.
Nice way to start things off for Lindsay Cheek on bars, the 9.85 score. In the middle of rotation 2, Georgia set to wrap things up on bars, Auburn on vault when we come back. Back inside Stegman Coliseum in the middle of rotation 2, Auburn on vault. Let's take a look back at some of their earlier routines. Vaulting now for Auburn, Brittany Webster, the sophomore.
That was a nice Yurchenko full.
It's another 9.7 for Auburn, this one by Brittany Webster. Vaulting now for Auburn, Katrina Yoke.
Huge power, beautiful vault.
It's a 9.8 for Katrina Yoke. Ready to go on vault for Auburn, Toy Garcia. Another good score on vault for the Tigers, a 9.85 for Toy Garcia. Ready to vault for the Auburn Tigers, Bree Guy, the sophomore. Scored a 9.9 at NCAA Regionals a year ago.
She just has so much power, and we're about to see it here. Wow, that was such a high vault. Probably the highest vault we've seen all night. Yurchenko full. Look at the block that she gets off that table. The amount of height is just incredible, and it leads her to be able to see that landing. Had to take a small hop backwards, but Overall, such a great vault.
Free guy, best score so far on vault for the Tigers with a 9.875.
It's all that power that she has, a fast run and tons of height off the table.
Georgia in the middle of rotation 2. Let's take a look back at some of their earlier bar routines. Cat Hires.
All that's left is a dismount, double layout, small step, great routine.
It's a 9.725 for Cat Hires. Brittany Rogers ready to go on bars.
Stalder hecht, huge, wow. You do not see that often in college gymnastics.
9.875 for the Gym Dogs by Rogers. Up next on bars for Georgia, Shayla Worley.
Powerful giants into her double layout dismount. Wow, what a stick.
It's a 9.85 for Shayla Worley. Ready for her bar routine, Krista Tinella, the senior from Lucas, Texas, and someone Coach Durante has been very impressed with so far this season. She scored a 9.85 on bars versus Arkansas.
Wow, beautiful start, a huge handstand, a great pirouette, beautiful Jaeger. She just has such pretty form. Her knees are always extended, toes pointed.
That's a veteran out on bars right now. You can see it.
She does show that level of confidence that only comes with practice. Great stick. What a beautiful routine for Krista Tinella.
So far, one of the top bar routines here tonight.
Her dismount here is just a simple double tuck, but she manages to get it really high to end a beautiful routine with a perfect stick.
Tinella with the 9.875,
which is a career high for her. It's all that tight form.
Rounding things out on vault for Auburn, Caitlin Atkinson, the freshman, scored a 9.725 on vault in the quad meet to open the season at Cal, and looking to better that here tonight.
Wow, pretty Yurchenko 1.5. Unfortunate to have to take that large step out of it. 1.5 vault is one of the hardest ones you'll see in college. It takes an extra half twist, so you need more power to get it around. She has no problem getting it around, but just to take a pretty large step out of it.
So Caitlin Atkinson rounds things out for the Tigers on vault with a 9.775 to give Auburn a 49 even for this rotation.
And that's a great score for Auburn. Keeps them in the competition. However, those landings at the end, they could have had a higher score.
Well, the pressure is off. The anchor for the Gym Dogs on bars, Chelsea Davis. They've had 5 hits so far, so she can kind of go out there and do her routine, some pressure off the shoulders.
It's always a great feeling when you're last to know that everybody else ahead of you has hit, and you can just let it go and have fun with it. And she's doing that so far. Beautiful first release, great second release to handstand. She's hitting them all. Final handstand hit, all that's left is a dismount. And she nails it easily.
The first team All-American on bars, looking very much like it on that routine there.
On this first release, just check out the power that Chelsea shows. She's so high above the bar, gives her plenty of time to see it, easily caught. Great power on this event.
A fantastic finish for Chelsea Davis, the 9.95 score to give the Gym Dogs a 49.4 overall score on bars.
Huge score. They clearly have a lot of momentum going, not having to count anything lower than a 9.85. That is huge.
So that helps out the overall team score, which Georgia in the lead right now, a 98.55 to the Tigers' 98.125. We'll be back with the third rotation in just a moment. Back inside Stegeman Coliseum here on the campus of the University of Georgia, where the Georgia Gym Dogs lead the Auburn Tigers 98.55 to the Tigers 98.125. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Alyssa Lee alongside former Gym Dog Amber Trainey. And Amber, both of these teams wanted to see improvements here today. It's a tight one here, and we are seeing those mistakes are minimized.
Both teams wanted consistency, and so far they're doing that. But each team is 12 for 12. And I think the coaches are pleased right now.
All right, well, we're moving on to rotation 3, where it's Georgia on beam. Let's take a look at their lineup.
Georgia has a strong beam lineup. Most of the girls in the beam right now are actually upperclassmen, so that'll help showing the confidence and the consistency on this event.
Up first on the beam for the Georgia Gym Dogs is Lindsay Cheek. Now, remember, she missed most of the season last year because of back spasms, but has been very strong in several events right now, and Beam happens to be one of them.
It's good to see her back because she is such a beautiful gymnast, and it kind of hurt them a little bit to have her out last year. So having such a consistent player back in is always helpful. Starting off with her series, back handspring layout. Oh, way crooked, couldn't hold on there.
So first one up and a fall for Georgia. We're going to have to hit the next 5 routines.
That puts a lot of pressure on the next 5 girls. Switch side. 180 split there, which is what you want to see. Moonwalk there, which is something that has been passed down in Georgia gymnastics, starting with Nikki Childs. Switch leap to a straddle jump quarter. I like that even though she had that fall in the beginning, she's managed to regain herself and finish nicely with a stick. The series, a back handspring layout, is difficult because she's doing 3 skills in a row. So you need to be dead on to avoid a fall. Unfortunately, she starts to go crooked in those back handsprings, layouts crooked, ended up in a fall.
And you can see the deductions there in the score for Lindsay Cheek, a 9.225. Moving on now to this 3rd rotation. It'll be Auburn on 4. Taking a look at that lineup, what do you see there, Amber?
They have a lot of really powerful girls in this rotation. They've got 4 gymnasts doing E elements, which is huge, very difficult, and will add to their start value.
Leading off on 4 for the Auburn Tigers, Kate Clues. She struggled on 4 last week versus Kentucky, scored a 9.05.
When you come off a fall, you're always looking to redeem yourself. And so far, beautiful full in. She could definitely do it. Getting ready for a second tumbling pass here. Front layout, front half, which is probably not what that was supposed to be. I'm guessing that should have been a front full. The front layout went over a little too far and just couldn't recover to do a full, had to tuck out and just do a half.
So far here in this 3rd rotation, both teams struggling just a little bit from what we saw with the first 2 rotations.
I think the nerves are starting to get to them. It's been a close competition so far. Both teams want to prove themselves. Both teams want to win, and they might be letting that get to them a little bit. Ending up with a double pike. Very nice stick to a good lunge. It's what you want to see at the end of a routine. Good start from Auburn. Second tumbling pass here. Probably should have been a front layout, front full, but that front layout just overdoes it, ends up only being able to tuck out and do a half.
So the misstep by Cruz nets her a 9.625. On beam now for Georgia, Sarah Persinger scored a 9.775 on beam versus Arkansas. And the Gym Dogs will need her to do a little bit better than that here after the first fall on the beam.
It's important here to just take a couple deep breaths and focus on one skill at a time in your routine. You can't think about what the people before you have done or what the people after you might do.
Easier said than done.
Very true. She started off with a very beautiful front aerial. She's about to do her series. Back handspring layout, step out. Slight bobble there. She was a little leaning to the side, but overall she managed to come back, and judges might not notice. Front toss, Sassone. Sarah's a very graceful gymnast, and this is the perfect place to showcase that, is on beam.
She's a year older and a year wiser, a sophomore, and had a nice freshman season as well.
She did, but it helps to have a year under your belt in front of a crowd like this. Good jump and leap connection. All that's left is a dismount, and she'll have nailed the routine. So round off to a 1.5 stuck. What a great recovery for Sarah Persinger.
And a recovery for the Gym Dogs here on B.
First skill here is a front aerial. It's kind of like a front handspring, no hands, but she just flows. There's no sense of urgency. Absolutely amazing.
It's a 9.825 for Sarah Persinger. Ready for her full routine, Toy Garcia. She says the team has not really responded well to competition pressure, and it's something the coaches have implemented or tried to simulate in practice this week.
This past week we did more inner squads. I know one day we actually went twice around on each event, and so, you know, everyone kind of has more, not experience, but, you know, gets the better feel of what it's really like to compete.
She's mentioned that they are doing more inner squads in competition, that they even went 2 times around in one practice, because you cannot replicate the pressure that comes with a competition. So what they've tried to do is mimic it as closely as possible, and it seems to have paid off so far. Good opening pass. A little bit of dance there before her second tumbling pass. Two and a half front tuck. You know, she struggled on that a little bit in the warm-ups, and it wasn't quite what she would have liked it to be there, but she did manage to stay in bounds, so overall, good job.
She won 3 individual titles last season, 1 on vault and 2 on floor.
She just has so much power, and she smiles when she's out on the floor. The judges love to see that.
And the dance looks really good. I mean, she can move.
She can move. Final tumbling pass. Double pike. Great power. A little bobble there on the landing, but what a great routine.
You gotta like that smile. Really plays to the crowd.
Second tumbling pass here. Back 2.5 to a front tuck. She overdoes the 2.5. Has her chest a little bit too forward, so that front tuck travels more than you want to see, but she stayed in bounds, so might not hurt her too much.
It's a 9.75 for Toy Garcia. We're in the middle of rotation 3 here in Stegman Coliseum. We'll be back with more gymnastics in just a moment. Back in Athens, Georgia, in the middle of rotation 3. Let's take a look back at Georgia and some of their beam routines. On beam for Georgia, Krista Tanella, someone Coach Durante has been very impressed with. Krista Tanella put things back on track with a 9.75 score. Brittany Rogers has had a good night so far for the Gym Dogs.
That skill right there is very unique. It's a 3/4 backhand spring, but you don't see many people land sideways like that.
Here, Brittany Rogers with a 9.275.
And that's because she didn't have a required element.
Up now for the Gym Dogs on beam, Shayla Worley.
Backhand spring layout, beautiful.
It's a 9.85 for Shayla Worley. The anchor on beam for the Gym Dogs, Kaylin Earls. The junior from Chicago, trying to put a nice score, exclamation point, on what has been really a subpar rotation for the Gym Dogs.
And they've had a lot of high moments and a lot of low moments on this rotation. Layout, layout. A little bit crooked from this angle. I'm amazed that she managed to stay on the beam.
She did help the Gym Dogs pick up that win over Arkansas with her routine on beam. She scored a 9.875 on it last week. She knows pressure.
Oh, she does. Side semi. Great landing. A little shimmy there. Getting ready for her dismount, which is a double back. Not many people doing this at the college level either. And a little step back, beautiful. First skill here, it's her series, a back handspring layout. It's a very hard connection, doing 3 skills in a row. And you can see that that second layout is crooked, and she still goes for the third one and stays on the beam.
So Earls rounds things out on beam for UGA with a 9-8 to give Georgia a 48-5 score on beam. Not the best that I think Coach was hoping for.
No, it's not. And it's not terrible, but it could have been so much better. They only had to count, or they didn't have to count Cheek's fall. However, Brittany Rogers was missing a huge important element, so even though she didn't fall, her score looks as if she did.
In the middle of rotation 3, it's Auburn on 4. Let's take a look back at some of their earlier highlights. Karen Caduce.
Final tumbling pass here. Double pike. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, and the deductions there for Caduce, the 9.375 score. On floor now for Auburn, Brittany Webster.
She does a full in and nails it. Nice.
Brittany Webster bounces back in the lineup for the Tigers, the 9.775 score. Caitlin Atkinson.
It's her first pass. Wow, that was a stack full in. You don't see that very often.
It's a 9.75 for Caitlin Atkinson. Bree Guy rounding things out for the Tigers on 4. Now her career high in this event is a 9.95, which she scored versus Southern Utah last March.
She has so much power and energy on this event. That first tumbling pass, a double layout, is incredibly difficult to do, and she does it like a piece of cake.
No wasted moves with her.
Not at all. Front double twist to front pike. Great landing on that as well. You can tell she just lets loose and has fun on this event. Tumbling pass here. A front lay, front Rudy for 1.5. What a great routine.
Nice way to round off this third rotation for the Tigers by Bree Guy.
First tumbling pass, double layout. Just look at the height and power that she has on this. She completes 2 rotations in a laid out position. That is so difficult, and she does it with ease. It is so, so beautiful.
A fantastic finish by Bree Guy on floor. Nets her the 9.9 to give the Tigers a 48.8 on floor.
Pretty good score from Auburn. They had to count a low score, but Brianna Guy's 9.9 really managed to keep them competitive in this.
It's a tight one here at Stegman Coliseum. It's Georgia with a slight lead, a 147.050 to the Tigers 146.925. Kaylin Earls, someone we spoke to before the meet, who said even though it's the third meet for SEC schools, she does not pay attention to what everybody else is doing. Her focus is on Georgia.
It's all about us and us making progress each meet at a time and how we're going to get better on the road and at home. So any other team right now doesn't really matter at this point. We're just focused on us.
It's important to not base your own performance by what the other schools are doing. It's hard to compare scores. The only way you're going to know how you are against that team is when you face them.
All right, moving into the final rotation, it's Auburn on beam, and taking a look at their lineup here, Amber, Katrina Yoke leads things off.
And it's nice to have a senior in the leadoff position, someone with confidence and experience that you can look up to and follow. It's going to be interesting to see them on beam. Last rotation, a little bit of nerves, and in front of a big crowd like this, let's see how they hold up.
Up first on beam for Auburn, Katrina Yoke. She struggled on beam in the first meet of the season, but bounced back last week, scoring a 9.775.
I like that Petrina starts, and she's a senior. It has shows something for the rest of the team to kind of look towards. A little bit of consistency and confidence since, you know, it is her 4th year. Series back handspring layout, back handspring. Her heel almost off the end of the beam, but very pretty. Switch leap straddle jump. Fulfills that 180 requirement and the 2-jump connection requirement.
Makes the 4 inches on beam look a little wider. Makes it look so easy.
She does make it look easy, which is good because the judges like to see that. They don't want to see a gymnast up there looking like it's a hard thing to do. Dismount. Little bobble on the dismount, but a great start for Auburn. Dismount here is a gainer full. Her shoulder dips a little, which is what causes her foot to slide and have that little bobble.
Yoke with a 9.775 to start the Tigers off on B. So in this 4th and final rotation, it is the Gym Dogs on floor. Taking a look at their lineup here, Amber.
There's been a lot of inconsistency on this event, but there's so much potential, starting off with Kaylin Earls and Krista Tonella, who both have a lot of energy and power, and ending with senior Shayla Worley, who brings a lot of grace to this event.
Leading off Georgia in this 4th and final rotation, Kaylin Earls. She led the team with a 9.85 in this leadoff position on floor versus Oklahoma.
She talks about not watching the other team's scores, and in a meet like this, that's probably a good thing. They're very, very close, and to see how close they are might make someone a little bit nervous, but apparently not Kaylin, opening up with a great double pike, huge height, great landing.
This is the type of gymnast you want to follow. You talk about leadoff position.
Yeah, she just sets the tone. She's got energy, she's fun. Second pass, the front layout, front 1.5. Great landing.
You know the gymnast is feeling pretty good about her routine when she gets a wink in.
Exactly. Deep breath before this final tumbling pass. Double tuck. Beautiful. Great start. And great attitude.
Stegman Coliseum has come alive here to start this 4th rotation.
Yes, it has. Opening tumbling pass, a double pike. Look at the height that she has. She is so far off of that floor. It gives her so much time to spot the landing.
Nice way to start things off on floor for the Gym Dogs. Earls with a 9.85 score. It's a tight meet here at Stegman Coliseum. We are in the home stretch. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a moment. Back in Athens, Auburn on beam. They've had some struggles here. Let's take a look back. Up on beam now for Auburn, Abby Hovick.
Round off double twist. Oh.
Couple of steps there.
Too many steps there.
Abby Hovick comes back with a 9.725. Free guy. Rounded things off nicely.
Back handspring layout. Oh.
This meet was so close. The deductions showing up in the score for Bree Guy at 9.225 score. Sophomore Megan Walker ready to go on beam.
The dismount, a gainer full to a stick. That'll certainly help the Auburn Tigers.
Megan Walker, a 9.875. Karen Caduce ready to go in the 2 spot for Auburn on beam, and has only competed on beam so far this season, scoring a 9.675 last week versus Kentucky.
She'll be looking to improve that score here. Switch leap into a gainer layout. Oh, come on. Well, she managed to not fall, but a big wobble like that is quite close in deductions.
And close in score again for those deductions. Remember, Georgia's a 147.05 to Auburn's 146.925 in this final rotation.
It's very close. Every little bit counts in this final rotation. Switch loop to a pike jump. Back handspring layout to a full little hop. Good routine.
She recovered well.
That gainer layout is important to have height, which she had, but she let her hip get away from her and cause that bobble.
You can see the deductions there for Karen Caduce, a 9.550 score. The Gym Dogs on floor, they have been up and down here today. Let's take a look at some of their earlier highlights. Ready to go on floor now for Georgia, Krista Tinella. And look at that, a career high for Krista Tinella on floor, the 9.875. Kat Hires ready to go in front of this fired up Georgia crowd.
A double pike, huge. Couldn't control the power.
Kat Hires, the fall, nets her a 9.5. Brandy J looking to redeem herself on floor, the freshman.
First tumbling pass here. Double pike, huge.
Brandy J, the 9.875. Sarah Persinger now on floor. Scored a 9.75 in this event versus Arkansas, and she's got some pressure on her after the fall from Hires.
There is a lot of pressure on Sarah right now to hit a good floor routine. But she starts off well, front tuck through to a double tuck.
Her career high on floor is a 9.85, and she picked it up in the NCAA prelims to earn second-team All-America honors last year.
And she has the potential to get that again. It's all about those tight landings at this point. Double pike, great landing, wow. She can just hold on to this energy for one more tumbling pass. She could easily get that high score again.
Persinger was another one that struggled in that first meet of the season here at home versus Oklahoma. She's shaken that off, at least so far, doing very well.
So far, it seems that she has shaken off those, we could call it first meet jitters, but all that's left is one more tumbling pass, and she'll have nailed it. Here we go. Front handspring to a Rudy. Wow, what a great routine for Sarah Persinger.
Just stayed in bounds and should get a pretty good score to help out her teammate Hires, who struggled a bit just before her.
First tumbling pass is a front tuck through to a double tuck, and it's so nicely controlled, good power, flows nicely, and it ends in a good landing.
And look at this, Sarah Persinger had a little pressure on her and answered the 9.9. Caitlin Atkinson, this freshman from Houston, Texas, rounding things out on beam for Auburn. She's a 2012 Junior Olympics national beam champion, and they will need a huge score from her here if they want a chance to pull this one out.
Well, you can see it on her face. She's determined to hit this beam routine. Beautiful front aerial, easy landing. Back handspring layout step out, another clean landing. All that's left is a dismount. Big double pike, small step backwards. Great routine from Auburn.
And now we're at the competition for the University of Georgia.
Dismount here is a double pike. See, she's got a lot of height there, real tight in on that pike. Little bobble on that landing, but a very nice dismount and a very difficult dismount.
So Caitlin Atkinson rounds things off nicely on beam for the Tigers with a 9.85 score to give Auburn a 48.775.
After those low scores in the middle, two good scores at the end that Coach Graven can be happy with, that his team finished out strong.
Shayla Worley anchoring things for the Gym Dogs here on floor. She hits, Gym Dogs win.
All right, and here we go. Double pike, great landing, and the crowd loves it.
Since the hires fall, the Gym Dogs have hit a 9.9, a 9.875, and all Shayla has to do is hit this routine.
Well, she's capable of it, just got to stay relaxed and have fun in this. And great front handspring, front double twist.
So far, so good, and she's got one pass left coming up, Amber.
The important thing is at the end of this, you want to be able to breathe. It's hard. You get tired, but it seems like she's doing a great job of it and managing to have fun in this routine and smiling the whole time.
And trusting in what she's able to do. That's been the key word for the Gym Dogs here tonight.
Setting up for a final pass. Front layout, oh no. Front layout, front tuck, that was a mistake. It's not going to be the same deduction as a fall, but that might hurt her start value.
Well, she hit a 9.85 in her last two rotations, so it's going to be iffy here for the judges and how much they give the deduction on that little bobble there. But it should be enough to win.
Final pass here. Front layout, what probably should have been a front 1.5. Not the end you want to see to such a great floor routine.
So it wasn't perfect by any means by Shayla Worley, but the 9.375 score is enough to give Georgia the win. They finish up with a 49 even on floor and round things out in the meet with a 196.05 to the Tigers 195.7. Standing by with head coach Dana Durante and senior Krista Tonella is our Amber Trainee.
Coach, big win here at home. What is your reaction?
It's a great win. It's a great win. We're still improving. We've got some things. You'll be able to see that we had a few mistakes here and there, but man, bars 49.4 I think. So amazing, and we get to come back Monday and get better.
And Krista, 2 career highs, 1 on bars, 1 on the floor. How do you feel?
Awesome. I actually didn't know. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with just the team energy. You saw after we did vault, wasn't our best vault, but it shows that good teams can win by the way we come back with our energy. And I think it really helped me. It really helps the confidence. It's awesome.
All right, great, guys. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. The Gym Dogs were just a little bit better tonight. The 196.05 score to the Tigers 195.7. For Amber Trainee, I'm Melissa Lee. Thanks for joining us. Now stay tuned for more right here on CSS.